live. And it's, well, it says it's being recorded in my head. I keep telling them to get out of my head. David, how you doing?
Very well, Wayne. Very well. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Favor to everybody. We just speak, abundance in your life, nothing missing, nothing broken. And Sky Pilot's here. There it is. Big hug. And it's a fabulous Thursday, and I am excited to have my good friend David on here, and we're going to have a really good discussion, folks. We're going to get into, I think, probably the one individual in the Soul Tribe that this can really be, the feedback will be amazing. So, David, first of all, haven't seen you in, good gracious, it seems like almost a year. So you're looking younger, brighter. And so how are you doing?
Doing very well, Wayne. Very well. That's exactly what I've been doing. I've been telling my body that I'm feeling younger and younger every day, fitter in every way.
You're looking good,
same
baby.
thing to myself every day.
It works. It does. I mean, the body will respond to what it gets in there. And so you're looking good. So thank you for coming on this particular subject. This is one that you and I were talking before we went live, that when the reality begins to hit the general public that this is really real, I think that we will see, I think would probably be, it may be the event, David, that I heard back in 2012, 2011, of this great moment of enlightenment, awake, etc. And I don't know if it ever came. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But if the reality of what we're going to be talking about today ever sinks in, then I think that will be an awakening moment. And what we're talking about, folks, is we're not alone. When it begins to sink in, David, I've received a lot of criticism, but a lot of support when I postulated the entire theory that if you look at it from a certain religious position, particularly the Abrahamic religions, the issue of a soul is something that's basically kind of more Hellenistic to more modern in context. The soul is going to live on, baby. Maybe not. But if what we can study, I've been reading the book here, folks. I recommend this, The Scars of Eden. I think Marcia Price was, he has a couple of books, Escape from Eden. Anyway, this author here, 33 years in the ministry, he came to this gnosis that, holy crap, that it's always been there right in front of us. And that the word Elohim, which has been morphed into the Christian identity as a single God and a Jesus, a savior, the two go hand in hand, are really all made up. That what it really is, the Elohim in its proper translation means the powerful ones.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you this. What's your position on the fact, do you think that human beings are all the same on the inside?
It's definitely not. Find a way of putting it. Definitely different on the inside. Now, whether it's because we've been around, some people have been here longer than others, or whether they're literally different entities from different planes of existence, whether they're from different planets.
Different star systems, apparently.
Exactly, different star systems. For me, different star systems would be different conscious. Well, the way I see it, rather than it being a soul, I would consider it more as a consciousness rather than actually a soul.
I would concur. Yeah.
So it's the consciousness that keeps repeating, it's coming back, or is in a different planet, different realm, whatever. And there's different consciousnesses here. Now we can go to different star systems, different planets by astral projecting, by remote viewing, things like this. So we can have we can have the walk-ins. So there may be people walking around. Literally, there's two entities in there, or maybe the one's kicked the other one out. So that's one way there's more. different type of entity here. Some people are literally walk different planet. Just like anybody who's read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, he mentions in there, it took him a long time to get that far to be able to leave the Earth. When he learned, he was out there exploring. If he's going on a different planet, the only way you're going to experience that is by inhabiting the body of an entity on that planet. So look at that in reverse, and that's most likely what's happened here. You've got the entities here that are born and raised here. Then you've got entities that are playing straight walking, where it's an entity for a consciousness from a different planet, if you want to put it that way. There's a vast distances to travel, as you know, through the name of the book now, the one with the Isbies. They used the biomechanical bodies to transfer their consciousness into to travel those vast distances, because the physical body can't.
Alien interview.
Yeah, alien interview, thank you.
Yeah.
So the physical bodies won't last the journey, so they send their consciousnesses out. No, I think you can do this without the physical body, without the biomechanical issues. You could just literally go walking. But as well as that, there's many different ones, you know, like there's the dark ones, there's the shining ones, there's all these people here to guide us one way or another, or entities, consciousnesses here to guide us one way or another.
What I found interesting is that my background coming up through Christianity was that it is repeated throughout the canon scriptures. We just weren't taught to look at it that way, is that, you know, that what we think these vessels are not exactly what we have been told. And the capacity of these vessels to hold different spirit entities. If you take the New Testament doctrine, Jesus cast out a legion of demons inside one man. Now, depending on what your definition of a legion is, but it can be up to 8,000 armed soldiers. So if a capacity of a human vessel is at that it could hold 8,000 different personalities, different beings, it really sets off this whole thing that I contend, and as it's been shown to me, David, is that we're all not the same. We think we're all human beings. We think that we all came from one creator, that the myths and the legends, which abound, that we all have that in commonality. And it turns out that we are coexisting with other beings who they don't have they would no more have the ability to contain a soul than if, you know, you put me out in there directing traffic. It's going to be a mess. And look at politicians. Governments make the most archaic, tyrannical laws that are anything but human and humane.
Yeah, exactly. But they're pretty much just, it's a script for them, isn't it, really? What they're being told what to say and what to do.
I've met some senators and I've met a president. And what's in the meat suit, I can tell you, I have met some pretty powerful politicians. It's where the black eye syndrome comes from. They have more black eyes than they do the irises with blues or browns or greens.
They've got the different, like obviously I don't know this is just my own hunch. They've definitely got something with it. The way I was kind of perceived it through a meditation a long time ago was that we all have, maybe not all, but from the point of birth onwards, we're implanted with, from my understanding, it's behind your left eye. But for a little while, you were talking about it, the cankerworm. Some kind of entity that came here at some point in the past and took over. And some of these people, it's more prevalent in them than others. Maybe it's more powerful, maybe it's got more of a hold than others. Maybe we've all got it. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that these buy-ups are directly led by whatever that is.
I've
Whether
heard
it's
that
implanted.
there are consciences who
Yeah, go
do
on.
not want to go through the birth process, and they would be much more parasitic, waiting for a sentient being like us who we've gone through that process. We basically have paid the ticket, but the parasitic aspect of consciousness attaching to another consciousness is not that far. In fact, it's taught in virtually every religion and every form of magic that I have studied.
Yeah, same here, Wayne. I've probably read it in numerous documents, numerous texts, exactly the same thing. Similar thing with the reincarnation idea. If you screw up too bad, it might be a case that you just get to tag on and just
Yeah.
perceive a soul and then the consciousness that's got it right, so you can learn from that. So there's literally more than one consciousness within the body. One of them is just tagging along for the ride to watch and perceive what the one that's getting it right's doing, so that they can then come around to me next time and then see how they do that way.
Yeah, it's always fascinated me, David, and you and I can converse on this. It's like speaking a foreign language we both know. Is
Yeah,
is the fact that if the fact that you have humans praying to archangels, you have humans invoking and binding what we would call archons, um,
yeah.
how very high powerful spirit beings, and the question that, and I don't do that because there's nothing that they can offer me, but I know that they exist. I
Oh yeah,
know
for
that
sure.
they are real.
Yeah, I'm sure that they are real, and they're the ones that are feeding off all the negativity.
Yeah. And why
Um,
you would want to invoke one, I'm not sure. We're going to look at a document here on the show, David. I found that, oh, it's a humdinger. But
nice.
yeah, but it gets back to the point is that then why would an angel want to help a human? Why
Well,
would a
the way I
demon
see the
want to
angels,
hinder a human?
the way I was told it through my knowings, my meditations, and what have you, is I heard it actually. This one, actually, one of the loudest I've heard, as almost an audible sound within my head. It's not angels, it's angles.
Ooh, I love
They
that.
pretty much told me it's not angels, it's angles. And the way that I sort of like shown that is that this existence that we are in, is manifested through points of energy converging. So those points of energy converging is where you get your angle from.
I love
Um,
that. It's kind of like bending space, isn't it? Space and time. I mean, if these beings exist,
um,
go ahead.
yeah, I guess you could say that, bend in space.
Well, look at it. They're if they're interdimensional in their foundation of their substance, and they're interfacing into this dimension, and I'm telling you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the other night I stayed up and watched the movie Dune. It's
One of my favorite films, right? I love
Oh
it. I know it
man,
off by heart, so
I'm
go for
writing
it.
notes here, and it got to me because if you remember the spice and Paul Atreides, as
Yeah,
he was able to bend, as he said, he could bend
yeah.
space, and the point that he said, there is a thought that makes a sound that bends both space and time. And I went, wow, okay.
I feel there's a lot of hidden truth in that film. There's a lot
There
of
is.
hidden truth in that.
We could probably do a whole hour on it and just do a critique on it. But getting,
It could definitely break that film down.
oh, well, and it is so interesting because the whole House Atreides, House Archon, you can really see that in a sense what they're trying to tell us is that this is what I think happened here on Earth. I'm
Yeah, totally.
convinced
You've
of it.
even got the Bene Gesserit witches in there
Yes,
manipulating the
thank you.
bloodlines to create the Kwisatz
Yes.
Haderach.
Yes.
You know, Paul was not supposed to live because he was the union of the two that was never supposed to happen because Kwisatz Haderach wasn't supposed to be a male; it was supposed to be female. Now,
Bingo.
obviously, when he took when he drank the
The water.
juice of the
Yeah.
worm,
Yeah.
he wasn't supposed to survive that. No, to me, that would basically be somebody like yourself, myself, having information put within us that we're not physically capable of accepting, which would normally fry a brain mind. Obviously, a mind being external to it. But once you've been through the esoteric teachings, once you've been through the initiations, once you've been through whatever it is that Paul had been through, then the physical body was capable of housing that consciousness within it. Pretty much what I feel that's saying in the film. And obviously we've got the J word controlling a lot of systems within this place that we
Bingo.
live in.
Bingo.
Obviously, I'm not going to go into those subjects. I'm not going to do that on your show. I'm certainly not going to do it on my show. But there's a lot of things along that lines that I am aware of that go on in the world. From how you start school, starts there, goes all the way through to the workplace and beyond. So manipulation on such a huge scale is unfathomable for most people to understand what's really going on here.
I think it's what's happening to this planet. If Ariel
Yeah.
was even remotely right within that, and if you take it within the context of Dune and what I think the story is really trying to portray to humanity is like, wake up.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally. Well, they've even got the voice that must be obeyed in the film, haven't they? I've recently
Yes.
come to learn about this, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to learn the esoteric how to achieve it, but I believe it's definitely true.
Reminds me of the Hebrews, that the original Hebrew language in its earliest essence was not so much a language as it was tones.
Yeah, well, the Hebrew language, the Hebrew alphabet is constructed from the Taurus field, isn't it?
Yes.
It's the
Yes.
Taurus field perceived from different angles, create the different letters. So it's not even a spoken language; it would be more of a frequency than anything.
Yes. Yes.
So it's a sound, not something that you would speak. Well, maybe you could sing the frequencies. I don't know, but you'd have to break down the Taurus field. It was something I was trying to study for a little while, but I gave up. It's way too complicated. It was above my pay grade then. Maybe I might come back to it one day.
I had a rabbi said, "Do the Jewish people a favor, Wayne, don't convert." But when I understood, for instance, Moshe, which is actually the original word is magician,
Yeah,
magi,
yeah,
it is said that him and Ebenezer, that's exactly what they did in the Saudi Arabian desert, that they opened up this portal, which they interpreted to be heaven. And
yeah,
what they saw was, for instance, the Holy of Holies, they saw the showbread, they saw all the utensils, and that's what they copied down here.
yeah,
And they did that by speaking the tones.
yeah.
Yeah.
Through those tones, Moshe, the magician, the Magi, from what I understand, actually created a singularity.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what was in the Ark of the Covenant. It's an actual quantum singularity, a power source. That's why in the daytime it was a tower of smoke. That's why in the nighttime it was a pillar of light.
Yep.
They took the top off, and that's why they had the energy to split the waves, which they've actually found the bodies and the horses and stuff at the bottom of
Oh, it
the.
was definitely a
Um,
foreign technology.
so it was using magnetic fields of some
Yeah.
kind to
Yeah.
actually create this, and that's what they were doing. Like you said, they saw the above. They tried recreating it down here, but obviously didn't get it spot on.
No. And as you were talking, here I am, I'm pulling files in the back of my head. And it's interesting because when we talk about they're here, we would never recognize them. Maybe some of us are them. I don't, it's that complicated. And even in my indoctrination, and again in Christianity, the Apostle Paul says, many have entertained angels unaware. That
Yeah,
is, if you look at that, what he is saying is that, well, you could use angel as an extraterrestrial. You could use the word angel as other beings that are existing, coexisting in the same space-time.
Yeah, yeah, it can be perceived as different kinds of entities. The way I get that one is that I hear frequencies just in one ear, sometimes in both, but most often just in one ear. Oh, a lot of people are hearing them at the moment. I've spoken to in sort of community. So you would be unaware that you'd had a little whisper in your ear then. And all you hear is like a little beep, different frequencies, different tones
Mm-hmm.
within your ear. So I'm getting them daily now, multiple times a day. It's the high pitch. It's a bit like what I've heard the earth sounds a bit like that kind of thing, but higher frequency. And that's probably what it is. That's what the old big pictures used to be, where you'd see like the spaceship up in the sky beaming something down into somebody's head. That's the frequency you're hearing. Obviously, we're frequency, so getting it, it's not words, so you're not perceiving it as language.
Apparently,
Same with a demonic entity.
you can actually call UFOs to you. I mean, I had who was it? Was it John Miller was on here that
Yeah, I
I know
remember the gentleman. I
he was
remember that show.
recently featured on Paranormal on, and there's another gentleman in Los Angeles, and apparently any of us can do it if you can get into that theta wave,
Yeah,
and that's a frequency of real love. Boosh, they're going to appear.
I was doing it, Wayne, for quite a long time. When you had the gentleman on the show, I was commenting in the chat
Yeah.
room that I can do that too. At the time, I was seeing what I was speaking to somebody else about this recently, actually. To me, it felt, and to me, it's like we call them UFOs because we don't know what they are. To me, it felt like baby dragons was come out and say it up in the high atmosphere.
Yeah.
They don't move in. They didn't. I haven't seen them for a while now. They didn't move in straight lines. They kind of moved like tadpole,
Mm-hmm.
wavy side to side.
Yeah.
I would think to that. I was just observing them for a very long time. And I thought, isn't he actually calling them in? So I started saying hello to them in my mind or out loud. And when I did this, instead of going from like a tadpole sort of wiggle, I'd give it a bit of an extra big wiggle just after I say hello or I'd ask a question, these kinds of things. And so it came to a head on the one evening. I was having a full-on conversation in my mind with going across the sky. And as I was watching it go across the sky, I noticed there was another one over there and there was another one over there. All three of them converged at one point, and then they all went a separate direction. I haven't
I
seen them
love it.
since. But I was having a full that was the last time I spoke to them. And I was like, okay, I've got my confirmation now. Yeah, it's me produced, it's me sort of calling you, it's me speaking to you, it's me having the effect that I'm visibly seeing happening. Up
Well,
until that point, I
Kaz,
wasn't 100%.
Kaz Hawks, who I'm going to have her on
Yeah, I love Cass.
again.
She's great.
I mean, the dragons appear. They
Yeah, I
have,
think they're getting closer.
yeah, yeah. It's um and it goes to show you, I mean, when back in the day, when before I was doing this, I was an avid sky filmer, watcher, and I actually captured an EVP, and but the UFOs or whatever they were, it was it was it was ridiculous because all I had to do was almost point the video camera up and start, filming, and sure enough, you know, it's like they're coming back, or they're like saying,
Yeah,
"Well, why don't you just stay out here and say hi?" But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So it get back to that whole point that um, there is also, I think, the scary side of the equation. Many people have used modern uh, cameras to capture what I believe are, in fact, real beings that, so I don't know. I call me arrogant, but humans have this thing that we think that if it's not looking like us, if it doesn't walk like us, and it doesn't talk like us, then it ain't us. You can't be an us.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, I want to show you this because you may have remembered at the same time I did this, and it's really interesting. let's see. I want to show this because I thought that this was interesting that our brains do exist in 11 dimensions, folks. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I got that information quite a long time ago that we definitely do exist in more than at least there's one dimension as we perceive it, and that we've got thoughts and activities going on in these other places at the same time. Yeah.
And yeah, when I look at this, it's amazing, David, because I have a feeling that we're in multiple places at the same time. We just don't know it.
Yeah, I definitely guarantee you we are. I've seen it. A few times it's happened to me in work. One day in work, I was outside doing something. I'm bending down to do something. As I look up, I see a different planet. I see, well, not different, but I see a planet up in the atmosphere. It's huge. So it's like in the film Avatar, we're that sort of close to it. I was that close to it. The sky was a different shade of blue. This planet, I think, had rings around it, but I felt at home there. It wasn't like, oh shit. Sorry, swearing. I felt like, oh shit, I'm somewhere else I shouldn't be. It was like for that split moment, I just
Yeah.
felt, oh yeah, there's whatever it was. And then bang, I'm back here again. And I've had that sort of thing happen a few times where I've been ended up in different places. So I know that my consciousness isn't just housed in it. Well, it's not housed in this body, is it? But my consciousness isn't just here. It's other places at exactly the same time. Probably
I've
the
been
same
finding,
person, on the inside.
yeah, my wife will testify to this. She's been hearing my voice when I'm not even in the room, but I've been experiencing more and more frequent um journeys back in my life. I mean, it's like you're reliving in that moment. We call it deja vu, but this is not deja vu. It's even intense than this.
Yeah,
I'm literally back in that moment of time. It's not disconcerting. It's telling me that
yeah, it just
time
feels
is,
natural, normal.
yeah, time is not linear.
I love what you've just put on the screen, Wayne. I've had a bit of an epiphany on this one. That we're light
Tell
beings,
us.
which means we're
Yes.
photons.
Yes. Talk to me.
You watch Roger over at Mud Fossil
Oh yeah.
University,
Yeah.
yeah?
I've talked with him. Yeah.
Him show Roger showing that with his red laser, he's recreated what the CERN's trying to prove. Now, when you go back to, I think it's quite back in his early stuff, he does repeat things over and over. So you may see it when you're actually showing the red, and I know you've got laser setups, so you might want to try this one yourself. But as you put the laser through the venturi, basically squeezing the light, it produces that shock ripple effect afterwards, where you see so we're not got particle.
The
It's
photon.
like a little like a little shield effect. Now, as the electrons come, like the photons, electrons come out the other side of the venturi after the explosion part, which is where we can get the free energy from if we could manage to harness it. Everything in our existence has a right-hand spin. You get some of these photons that come back out the other side as a left-hand spin. Yeah. Now, as we're photons, we're coming off what we perceive as the sun. That's spewing out electrons. The electron gets hold of what the other element's called now, but basically that then makes the dipole, which becomes the photon.
Correct.
Now, some of these photons basically are us. As you say, we are photons. So say as we enter the Earth's atmosphere, this Venturi effect happens naturally in the upper atmosphere. As they then continue down to the surface of the Earth, everything on this planet plane is light trapped in a certain frequency.
Yeah.
So there are people like ourselves who perceive things differently to others. We're the ones with a left-hand spin. All the ones just walking around wearing their muzzles, they're the right-hand spin.
Ah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they perceive it as like we're not being naturally rebellious. It's just we're different to them. We couldn't be like them if we wanted to be, just like they couldn't be like us if they wanted to be,
Oh,
because we
that's
got a different
profound.
spin on things.
Yeah.
It could be where
I
that
love it.
expression came from. Could be
Perfect.
where that expression came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, hello to everybody in chat. I can't keep up with that
I
yet.
can't see the
I
chat
love
at the
you all.
moment. But so this gentleman perfected this photography, and it still fascinates me that
Yeah, I found this very interesting.
that they live. I mean, look at the one with the priest on the right. I mean, um,
Yeah,
these are, and they're around us. everywhere. They are
Feel them.
beings of light, and they exist. And like you were just describing, um, I think their shift is just a little bit off from ours.
Yeah, there's a lot of things here existing with us, all on a slightly different frequency. Just like a radio station, if we could tune our perceptions into the radio station, we literally would be standing there on my right hand side going, yeah, go on, sort of thing. Because we're of a different frequency, and most of us is trapped so much in this fugue that we've been put in since birth,
Mm.
semi-hypnotic state. We're programmed not to see these
I
things.
think, boy, and I think that is more true than what we even recognize. And I think that's what happens when you begin to expose to the thought of possibility, and I say keeping an open mind, that is what begins to break the trance,
Yeah.
um, over an individual's consciousness.
Well, we're programmed since birth. It's
Yeah.
literally, as soon as you're born, your parents are programming you because they've been programmed, and their programs have put their parents programmed so back so far that when you're born, you're told like Father Christmas is. I think Father Christmas is a great one because that's just setting kids up to
Yeah.
know to think that magic isn't
Oh
real.
man, talk about
Yeah,
indoctrination into materialism. I mean, there you
exactly.
go. And let's do
Exactly.
it in the guise that it's a happy time.
Yeah, but you're all told from kids that Father Christmas comes, he comes in your chimney, he gives you presents and all that, and then you reach a certain age where you're told he's not real. Whereas you and I, well, I assume you also know Father Christmas isn't what you're told as a kid at all. It's
Mm.
all to do with what's going on in here as
Yeah.
you're progressing. So then when you get to that sort of level of gnosis, well, you won't get there basically if you believe all that stuff, but you're never going to get there.
One of the things I can say in my childhood, the Christmas was never a good time. I mean, it just wasn't. And
Yeah, same
and
here, kind of. My parents tried their best, but I never felt it. I never really felt
yeah,
it was right.
yeah, exactly. I love it. I just wasn't feeling the love. I'll put it that way because to me it was, um, I remember at the age of 11, and I just remember the whole hubbub. And I remember as a kid, because we lived out on a farm, and I was out there with the rabbits, and I used to talk to the rabbits, talk to all the animals. Um, you know, people thought I was weird, but that's cool. It was just like it was this chaotic nonsense of everybody wanting to see what they were getting. And I remember even as that child at that point, I said, I don't want any part of this. Anyway,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
digress.
I had like a similar experience. The one Christmas, I never really felt that what was going on was right. I had come from a very, very loving household. Both my parents were extremely loving. Um, but I just never felt Christmas. Never felt right. One Christmas, I ended up running away only for about half an hour because I realised I'm only 10 or 11. Where the hell am I going to go? So I ended up going back home again. And from that point onwards, Christmas just wasn't ever Christmas. I knew it wasn't right. Yes, about the
Wow.
songs and materialism and all that kind of stuff. I think I must have had a download up. I didn't know it was a download.
I was just saying there, it may be. That's very interesting. By the way, these are some very strange pictures, folks, but the guy, you have to admit, he's capturing something here.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
lot like Brian's, isn't it? The stuff that he gets.
yeah, uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, they all have an individual characteristic to it that I know it makes you
Different
wonder
energy, different
sometimes.
frequencies.
Marsha Price, I'm thinking of you, hun, because Marsha works in a medical lab, and when you get things under a microscope, there's a whole new world there. It's
But
alive.
yes, the
Yeah,
macrocosmic world avenue is totally different to what we perceive.
and
That's interesting.
it is, isn't it? Um, it's this character here. I get the idea of the insectoids.
Yeah, well, very well could be. I'm pretty sure
Look at that.
we share this planet plane with them, so that would
Yes.
make sense. They're underground, though. Obviously, they're not above ground.
Accordingly, they're very nasty. They hate humans. That if
I'm not too. I think there must be more than one race of them then, because the Hopi Indians were taken underground by the insects and the insectoids, and they were looked after, taught how to look after their food, and they were even given their food for the whole time that they were down there. And then when it came time to come back up, they helped teach them agriculture and what have you.
I've heard that story, and then you got the one with the U.S. military down in New Mexico when they bore through
Yeah,
into
that
one of
didn't end well.
their tunnels, and the U.S. Military opened fire on them.
Yeah, that wasn't a
And
good idea.
no, it didn't turn out well for the humans that were down there, and so it goes to show you that there's, and again, I
Well, with
just,
that one, I think that we basically broke a treaty. A
oh,
treaty at some point was signed, or a pact was made to all to agree to live here harmoniously and not sort of go into each other's territories. And whether by accident or on purpose, they strayed out of the treaty, so they got their asses kicked. Same deal with the South Pole. Went
mm-hmm.
down there, weren't supposed to go down there, so they were unpolitely told to go away. You know.
And I think it's interesting because that's still one of those mystery places. But folks, I hope you like this. There are just it's interesting, David. I think that it expands my awareness to begin. When I used to deal in Christianity and dealing with, casting out demons and what have you, the images that I would see were not of what people think demons are. Many times I would see, in many cases, these type of images,
No, that makes sense. So the demons, way I see it is they're not the way that it's seen in a religion, especially like Catholicism, Christianity. I think the
yeah,
demons is it's not so much demon, it's daemon. Now
mhm.
you're from a computer
Daemon.
background, the same as
Yes.
myself. You know that there's software running in the background of every single piece of tech called a daemon.
Yep.
All that job is just to make sure that all the other bits of software and all the other bits of hardware are working correctly, doing what they're supposed to be doing. Now, for me, each one of us is probably littered with these things, all making sure that your body's doing what it's supposed to be doing, the way it's supposed to be doing with it. So for me, it's almost like the demons are from a plane of existence within each and every one of us that we all share. It's not like you've got your demons, I've got my demons. I'm not possessed from an external
We could
source.
write a song on that. You got your demons, baby, and I got mine.
But rather than coming from an external source with and investing us, it's more that, like, say, we've got an internal internet, as it were, where we're all sharing that dimension, that place, that they all come from the same place too within us. Now, maybe some of us keep hold of them, or do literally, maybe like in the Matrix, they programming goes a bit awry, so they're a bit rebellious. So they don't wanting to follow their programming anymore. Do start causing people problems. Not really sure what the exorcism bit's all about.
Lilith
How you
teaches
get them out
that
of the body.
each part of our body, and I think it would go with what, Trina and I speak of, you have conscious memory and then you have cellular memory. And the
Yeah,
two,
genetic cellular memory.
pardon?
Genetic cellular memory.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yep. And that's why these bodies have the functionality that they do. They have within them a memory that the conscious memory, if you get in tune with your body, you can really begin to blend those two consciences together.
yeah, totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you've got the memory of every relative you've ever had within your body, going back forever. Really, I see the way I see it within your genome.
And
It's not just genetic. It's not just like, oh, you can have a birthmark here, or your ears are this size, or your nose is this shape because your ancestors were. But all the knowings that they ever attained within yourself as well. Now, you can access those knowings. I don't know how, or everybody, but it's sort of like in the film Aliens.
mhm.
If anybody's familiar with that film, I've seen everyone. I've watched everything to do with them, and their species basically has this capability in abundance that every one of them remember the genes within their body adapts from, because they've got the memory of everything they ever were within them. So, you know, if it was a dog, it could be dog one or whatever, or some alien species that it needs to become. So I think our bodies all house the same sort of kind of memories going back for however far back maybe your consciousness has been on the planet for.
I search for it. I tell you, I believe that experience has taught me is that if I can conceive it in my mind and I can put it into my consciousness, then I can begin to accept it. And it's like when I need to materialize something physically. Um, it's decades. It's just in me. It's a natural. I know the process, and it works, which tells me if that works, then there's much more to consciousness other than just simply observation and experience.
Definitely, like the key, like with the manifestation thing. My manifestations these days are crazy, right? Not sure what I want to go into if I would want to give you any examples. Just simple things. I'll give you the most simple, basic things. Obviously, I understand the mechanisms involved behind it, but it'd be a bit long-winded to go now. But say I'm running a bit short of money towards the end of the month. I just say to myself internally, I just need a little bit of help getting by. And then find £5, I'll be gifted something. Somebody will say, do you need this? Do you need that? Whatever it is I need. My needs are met. Just as you've spoken on many, many occasions. It does just happen.
It does.
And I know it's not the conscious mind doing it. Obviously, you're thinking it with a conscious mind. That slips over to the subconscious mind, and then that communication goes up, and then bada boom. You have what it is. But obviously, you're not going to get more than you require. So maybe I should start doing the lottery.
Well, abundance is something that many people have a difficulty with.
This is why I'm definitely not gifted with abundance, because I'm pretty sure if I was given £10 million tomorrow, you wouldn't see me again.
It's interesting. In a former life, working in startups, we competed to get into to present at venture capital conferences, and the competition to get chosen was intense. And if and our company was very fortunate because we virtually got chosen every time. Um, but my point is, so for me, as a startup, as a CEO, I'm making a presentation and I'm seeking tens of millions of dollars. Now, you can't do that if your inner vision says that, well, I can't even put myself in a place of where there's 10,000.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's interesting because you can't put an engineer, for instance, to make a presentation in an investment forum.
That's
Engineers
not going to
can't
go
do
well.
it. No, exactly. It's a disaster. I mean, I've seen that. But my point is, I saw every time we submitted our company into the competition, I would meditate and I would speak favor over the company. I would speak that our company would catch someone's eye, and inevitably every
Can I stop
time.
you for 1 second?
Yeah, what's that?
So sorry to do this to you. As you know, we had trouble getting me online, so I didn't actually have a chance to use the loop. Can you give me 2 seconds while I
Well,
just pop this
sure,
like
yeah.
that? I know we're nearly at the end of the show, but it's not going to be pretty if I hang around, okay?
No. Go. I can easily handle it.
I'll just be 2 seconds,
Okay,
okay?
that'd be
Sorry,
fine.
guys. Sorry, everybody. I won't be long, okay?
This is family, folks. This is the real deal. This is how it works. And I've been there, done that. So how is everybody doing? Let's see what's going on. It's a full house. I know that. This is a fascinating topic. I mean, we are not here alone, folks. And I am here to tell you the reality is you may be married to someone who does not have the same essence of you. We're obviously very different. In this book, Until David Gets Back, Paul talks about the fact that in the Aboriginal people, they know that they came from, it's the third star in the Pleiades in a planet. They actually knew this. And it's interesting why Australia, the government is completely trying to eradicate that history. But the point is, throughout all of, hey, Crystal, what's up? Hey, Susie Q, I see you too. And anyway, it is a fact that in all of our religious documents have been altered to present a commonality of a theme. Because if you begin to bring in ET aliens into the conversation, particularly where the sacred texts are, it blows them apart. Because there is no God, folks. I don't know how to keep telling you this, not in the essence of what we think it is. It's an alien, it's an ET. And excuse me for getting back on it, we're not all the same on this planet. There were others here before we came, and there'll be others here after we leave. So anyway, hey, David, how you doing, buddy?
Hello, a lot better now. I can concentrate more now.
Good. Yeah, I know that.
Sorry about that.
I have been there and done that. Been on a plane many times going, what the hell are you doing in there? Taking a shower? I mean, come on, So anyway.
It happens.
It's true. It is. It
You know
does
I'm human.
happen. And that's what it is. We are most interesting beings. I want to digress in a topic because it fits into this topic. So I'm a real fan. I tape the shows and then I analyze the data, and it's quite interesting to see some of the things and there's one that I have found very interesting. It was in an airport in Japan. I believe it was a United pilot that was shooting the video, and they're parking, waiting for the gate, right? So they're not even approached the gate, but he is filming. And as he films the jetway, there are people we don't know where they came from, but there you can see people clearly walking with their suitcases up the bridgeway into the terminal. And there's no plane there.
Was it was like a ghost plane, was it?
No, there was no plane at all, but you saw people getting off of something, and it was very interesting. The point is that our cameras are becoming much more sensitive in the way that they're in there, and we're capturing, I believe, this tear, this ripple in the dimensions. And I think that I contend that when we started exploding atomic bombs in the atmosphere, that we were, unbeknownst to us, that we were actually making tears in the space-time continuum.
Very, very well, maybe correct there.
Well, if the theory is that we're exploding an atom, right? And if you're exploding an atom, that on a quantum level, you're literally tearing through space-time.
Yeah, totally. Roger, again, on Mud Fossil University today, did a good one on that one. He's showing how you get the dark and the light parts, the positive and the negative part of the photons. And when they, that's pretty much exactly what I would imagine that they would do.
Yeah.
So they probably opened up all sorts of gateways. Imagine how many experiments have been done, how many times they did.
Oh, I've related this story to the audience before, but in my my youth, I have actually been with a woman that I can tell you what I found out was that's why I know we're not all the same on the inside. We can party, we can love, we can laugh, we can have coitus, but it was at that point, and I'll never forget that when when you realize that there are other beings that have physical bodies like we do, but there are moments when those shields come down. It was quite revealing, I have to say. In fact, it was frightening, to be candid with you.
You can imagine if somebody just transforms in front of you. I
Yeah.
know there are places on the planet where entities can let themselves be seen for what they really are. They're in the places where the rights have been said, and they're in the right ley lines, as it were, then they can literally transform into their natural.
It's
Yeah.
true. I mean, that's why I
If you're
don't
not
have a
prepared
problem.
for, if you're not
Pardon?
prepared, you're going to be like, oh my God, what the hell is that?
Yeah, that's about what happened. I used a little bit more explicit words,
Behaving.
but yeah. But nevertheless, I mean, it was an eye-opening experience. And through my life, I have seen these, and I now know that probably the more accurate term, Dave, would be a shapeshifter. That in the fact that they're more common than what we realize.
Yeah, I got a feeling there are people walking around and they don't even know that they are one.
Ooh, I would agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think you can be going around your normal daily life, and then you're probably a member of a club, shall we say?
Hmm.
You go to the club, and you put on certain things, and then you go to a certain place. The ceremony takes place, and poof. And then, as far as you're concerned, you just went and enjoyed your time at the club with a bunch of mates having a good old chat about different things, and you go home and you have no idea what happened there.
Are you speaking from experience?
Nope, most definitely not.
Okay.
It's just I have eyes to see and ears to hear.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. In my youth, it was quite interesting because, there was just an openness of mind. It was pretty much you see things, you experience things, and it's not until later in life that you look back and you go, okay, now I see what happened.
Yeah,
And yeah,
you
which
look
leads
back
to,
on things with hindsight. Yeah, you can
oh,
achieve things differently with your new knowledge, won't you? But
it's like, do we have guardian spirits? I mean, do we have, I know that there's a presence, that I can identify with. I know the tone of voice in my head that's different than what my voice is. And so that's a question that becomes, well, then are there two minds or that are joining together into one consciousness, or is this two consciousness that are just merely vibrating together?
I think there's more complementing each other. I think so. Maybe a similar sort of frequency or same sort of frequency. So one's looking out for the other.
Mm, I could see that.
Pretty sure I'm protected. I must be.
Well, that is so
That's what I've
true.
been through.
I think that many of us are, and I think that that is a mission for higher advanced spirit beings. Many of us who probably are listening, who knows, in the next mission, it may be us that will be protecting um, sentient spirit beings here in this plane.
I've been told I'm going to be remaining after the end of this yoga, and I'll be a guardian in the next one.
I could sense
Um,
that.
I think I know what that entails and what that means.
Hmm.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
have a feeling when all this, obviously what the yugas are, when this yuga ends, when this time ends and everything is integrated back into its energy and then is reformed into the next one, being told that I'll be a guardian, and I'm pretty sure that means that I'll be the frequency in my ear. Maybe not entirely sure.
Or assigned to another.
Could possibly be. Maybe I'll be tagging on along with somebody else. But I think it's a bit more grander than that, to be honest. Possibly maybe planetary, species wide, or galaxy wide. I don't know. I haven't had any more information other than that.
I tell you, Dave, it's interesting that we're bringing this up. All right, let's talk about this plane of existence, Earth. And if you go by the kind of the standard litany that, we are all souls in the process of ascending, which requires sometimes many incarnations within a lifetimes to be able to acquire and it's basically, I always call it essential essences that you're picking up.
Yeah.
However, in my meditation, I see beyond the earth. And I cannot but behold the wonder of what I see. And I know that that is where my pull is. I don't think I'm going to be coming back here. There is, if the universe is what it is, then there is a trillion lifetimes to be lived, and it cannot be lived in simply in this plane of consciousness.
No, it's most definitely not. I've got two memories of previous existence, and they're both different. Uh, for anybody, most people, this will sound crazy. The one I remember, this is all I remember. I remember it's perception, not like I had eyes to see with, but there was a planet, for want of a better word. There's a sphere, and in my knowing at that time, I had actually created that planet. Not saying I'm a god, I was,
Mm-hmm.
but I helped to create this planet. And there were beings on this planet going about their daily business as we do. And there was this mountain that was kind of inhibiting their progress for whatever reason. I can't remember exactly now. I think that they couldn't, it was in their way kind of thing. So I said, I was thinking to myself in that reality and place, wherever it was, that if I just increase, I don't know why I said increase, but if I increase the height a little bit, and that'll help these people. With that, the planet goes into a bloody pear shape. I overdid it. Now, what I've come to learn in this incarnation is that a little bit in cosmic terms is a lot.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I kind of feel like from that aspect, I was kind of sent here to learn temperance, maybe best word,
Yeah,
or to
yeah.
be more accurate in my thinking. So rather than just thinking, this could all be like, you know, I'm not saying this is actually what happened. Maybe this is one of the lessons that I needed to learn to be more accurate in my thought. So rather than thinking that mountain needs to be a little bit bigger, I should have maybe said to myself, obviously not having our measurement systems, but maybe I should have said that could do with being 200 meters lower or that kind of thing, not just a little bit, because a little bit is open for interpretation, isn't it?
Well, if I'm using a yardstick as my measurement, a little bit can be a whole lot. I mean,
Well, exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
You know?
And the second memory I have, this one's a bit vague, is you know what it looks like when you look through like night vision goggles and you can't see everything properly. It's just like a grey sort of tone. Now, if you can imagine looking at reality through that, but only being able to see about 20 feet, and on top of that, you've got fallout from a volcano coming down at the same time. So you can't see really further than that wall behind you. Now, during this process, I'm going through this dark, dark forest. All I can see from what my perception felt like eternity after eternity. So I'm just on my own going through this place, this forest. It might not have been a forest, but it's again, I'm not seeing it with visual art with eyes. It's more of a perception. Until I come across this house. There's a light on in the window in the house. So for however many eons or whatever I've taken get to this place, and then I see this house and I look inside and it looks all warm. There's people inside it and they're all, you know, doing family sort of thing. I've been on my own for so long. And I went inside the house. Next thing I know, I'm here. Born here. That's the last thing I remember. That's the last thing I remember before being born. Is
Wow.
being on my own for a very, very, very long time. I went into the house and then I'm here.
You're here.
No, I don't know why I was thinking of this last night. Maybe because I got an idea of this kind of things we may be talking about. But to me, I was thinking last night that maybe that's what orbs are. They don't have eyes to see. Maybe they can perceive certain things around them. And if you imagine, say, somebody died in a forest, miles and miles and miles away from anything, it might take them eons to actually get to humanity.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that is what happened to me. It's just my interpretation of that. it could be, no, I really not else to say
You're
there.
triggering some thoughts in my head. I mean, excuse me, my earliest memories have been of actually just, I'm in a, I can't describe it. I mean, it doesn't have definition, but it has color. And I'm more or less in a fetal position, you know, and yeah, it's very, very different. By the way, while you were talking, and it's not there anymore, but, well, if I saw it a while ago, I swear I saw like two beings, shapes on the, which would be yep, yep, yep.
I'm never on my own wing.
Yeah, I saw him. I mean, anyway, I was seeing something there. It was very interesting because as you were talking, it was very defined. And your aura, by the way, is intense.
I've been told that, yeah.
Yeah, it's very intense. But there were two. I swear that there were two energy. There was two somethings there behind you. But anyway,
Yeah, I never feel on my own. So it's not bothering me being in this
yeah.
flat. I know I'm not on my own.
They were both just peering over. It was really quite amusing. They were literally peering over, looking. So, what I don't know. Wow.
I
That
speak to them
hour
all the
went.
time.
Huh? Do you sense them?
I speak to them all the time.
Yeah. Well, I saw two. Yeah. And you pointed exactly where they were at, and
That's because
yeah,
they're always there. Always there.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I can't see it now, but wow, a minute. Well, a while ago was very intense, my friend. It's like, I'm going, damn it,
Cool.
my eyes, what? David, this has been fun, brother. This has been a lot of fun. So,
I always love coming on. I love speaking with you, and it's nice to speak to somebody who I don't have to explain what I'm saying to.
just send me the cue cards, right? Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Well, you know, it's the difference between someone talking about something and someone experiencing something.
Yeah, walking the walk.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting. I can be sitting on the couch and reading, and it's sometimes it's almost like there's a freaking quarter coming through here. I mean, there are energy being, I can see them all the time. I mean, um, so you know, it tells me that the coexistence of realities is again something I don't think we quite perceive right. I can be wrong. I don't know.
I
But
believe you're right. I believe you are definitely right.
yeah. You know, people ask me when my father passed away, did I, you know, sense him? And you know, and I shared with the brief moment, but never have felt that presence, never felt any of that energy at all. So why do I would feel other energies, but not something that you would think that would be connected, you know, through bloodlines? It's interesting.
Yeah, I've had that. It's, since about the age of 12, I think. Every member of my family that's passed over, I've known when they've gone. I used to think it's premonitions. Maybe it's more than that now. Yeah, lost
You know,
15
I'll
members.
share this with you. My grandparents moved to Santa Clara, and in 1960, I was 5 years old. My aunt was up in Sacramento, and it was Christmas Eve. And as she was crossing the road, she was walking across it. Um, Drunk driver hit her, and she died. But what I remember was that she was standing, my brother and I had bunk beds, and I slept on the top
Yeah,
bunk bed, and my aunt came there and I remember her push, you know, kind of petting my hair, and she told me, she
yeah,
said, I I'm gonna start crying. Um, because it was so real that she said, I will
yeah.
always be there, you know, and then when I found out, you know, and as a child, you don't perceive death quite in the same way. But the interesting thing is that, you know, at that moment of her departure from her physical body, there she was in our bedroom. So,
Check in
yeah,
on you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what emotions will do. So, boy, we've had a full chat room in here, David. I'm gonna have to go back and see. It's going too fast. I
Okay,
can't.
I'll have to watch again. So.
It's like, well, my brother, I want you to come back on again. It is just, it's refreshing. It's just a
Anytime.
joy, just to have you on. Folks, make sure you subscribe to David's channel. Come on,
Yeah, I'm going
follow.
live now as well. I went live for the first time earlier, just as a little experiment for 20 minutes
I
to see if
watched
I
it.
could and how to do everything.
Yeah, I
So,
watched it. Yeah,
oh, thank you.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll be going live more and
You
more now as
should.
well.
You should. David, I've told you this before. Um, you are a master in many different ways, and you have a great deal of knowledge and wisdom to share. And it would
It's,
be
take,
great to see you.
it's
But
taken time for me to get, as my friend Keith in work puts it, I need to find my own story. It's
yeah,
all well and good watching Alan Watts and all the other guys and regurgitating stories, but I've got my own life experiences
yeah,
to explain these things. So I found my own stories, and like I think I said to you in the I sent the other day, I feel like I'm coming out of my chrysalis now. I'm better capable to teach the things that I know on side my knowings. So yeah,
yeah.
moving forward.
All I say, brother, is fly high and fly as wide as you can. I mean, this is the time. And Dave, it's an honor to call you friend, and it's certainly an honor to see how much you have been a part of this soul tribe. And it's turned out to be quite the family. It really
And
has.
it's just a beautiful family that we've
Yeah,
got here.
yeah,
Every
yeah.
single one of you, I love.
It's I marvel at the growth. I really do. And it's something that it tells me that there is
It couldn't have happened
legitimacy.
without you, Wayne. You're an amazing man, Wayne, and we all owe you a lot. And I know we're all very grateful to you. None of this could have happened without you. All these
Well,
people in the chat room, they're all progressing, they're all finding things out. None of it could have happened without you.
well,
Thank you.
it's souls like you, David. Thank you. It's that you know that it was never the design. It just happened.
Just
What
the
do
way
you
it
do?
happens, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And our good friend Brian, I look at the roots of this group, and this is not by chance. This is not circumstance. This had to been planned on the astral plane
Yeah,
before we came into here.
yeah, totally. Just
Yeah.
like the Hopi Ringo Warriors. We are those people. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
Boy, there's a couple of songs I can just write on the title of this. All right. Well,
Just
we
cut
need
me in, all
a
right?
collaboration between David Barry Productions and, so I love that. Well, what's the future for Soul Tribe Productions? Just
Well, I've got, how do I put it? There's many different projects I've kind of got planned. I don't want to go into too many details right now,
okay,
but watch
that's
this
fine. When
space.
you're ready to
The reason I kind of changed my name from just my name to the Soul Tribe Productions is at that point in time, I was doing a lot of things for other people in the community, whether it be tidying up a video for their channel, whether it be intros, whether it be doing music. As you know, I've my hand in quite a few different people's channels, helping them in one way or another. Or to be honest, I'm not going to say which channel it is that I actually manifested. I was thinking about it for months and months, working on manifesting this channel. I was hoping it would become a super channel, as it were, super channel for people like yourself, Rex, everybody within the community, Marsha, Cajun Queen, whoever wanted to come onto that channel could go there, not just be on their own channel, so that we could have this place which you've
love to
mentioned
have that would be a great
lots of times,
collaboration.
that we need a place that we can all come and talk together about these things. And that's what I was hoping this place would become. It's not quite headed down that route, so I think I need to do a little bit of manifesting again. But yeah,
Well, give me
that's
a
one
piece
thing.
of a picture of that, and I'll add my bringing into the
I definitely want
unseen,
you involved.
yeah, let me know. It's, you know, and you know, folks, again, remember, you know, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It's that substance.
Yeah.
It's written in every holy book. It's written in every magician book. It's the Golden Dawn. It's the substance. And if we could just grasp this, David, and
Yeah.
begin to master this substance as a collective group, holy crap.
Three or more, and we're laughing, Wayne. 3 or more.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know, the numbers of multiplications is not 1 + 1. No, each one of us bring a numerical value of, let's say, 10,000. So
It's
it's
exponential.
10,000 times 10,000 times 10,000, folks. And David, that's how you begin to knock down the dominoes.
That's where I'm going, Bob.
All right, well, let me be a part of that. I think it is 1 We're across the board. So perfect time. I love it. All right, David.
Good time to finish.
I love it, brother. Thank you for being on, folks. Subscribe to the channel, and David, anything I can do to help support you, just let me know.
Thank you very much, Wayne. I love you, brother.
Love you too as well, and love all of this soul tribe. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm taking the weekend off here in America. It's Memorial Day weekend, so we've got the standard 3-day, but I'm making it a 4-day with my lovely wife, and so you know, David, I'll see you. Are you going to be on any of the channels here in the next couple of days, or?
I don't know. I was going to possibly ask. I'm free Friday night. If I can keep my eyes open, I was going to see if I could maybe tag on Andromeda, because I like the look of what they're talking about. I know I've got stuff to contribute on that one. Other than that, I'm planning on going live at least once more, to maybe twice more over the next couple of days on my channel. I don't know how long it'll be.
All right.
When I really get stuck into the book I'm reading or planning on reading.
Yeah.
So
I'll tune in and keep tuning on to you. I'm really looking forward to, you know, as they say, I got a stack of books like that. So, all right, folks, I would say listen to the Steiger perspective tonight, but I'm not doing a show. So have yourself a great holiday weekend here, those in America, and the rest of you around the world. We love you. Enjoy the weekend, the strong end, right? David, stay with me as we knock off here. All right, everyone. Much love to you. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.